everyone, so there are so many new beauty launches out at the moment. I thought in today's video I'd give some of them a go and show you guys what I think. Now I promise I didn't mean to upload the same video as Anna did on Sunday. Sometimes that just happens, but I actually think it's a good thing because I'm going to link her video down below and you can see what she thinks of all the new beauty launches she mentioned, and I'm actually talking about completely different products in mine, apart from one that we have the same. There's so many new products out, so I really think these sort of videos are quite important for us to kind of wade through all the marketing fluff and show you guys just our honest opinion on what we think of the products and how they work. My memory is terrible, so instead of talking about prices and shade range, I'm going to list everything below. I'm going to put the product details, when it's coming out or if it's out already, and how much it's going to be. So don't forget to check down in the description box for all the details. It's going to be a long one. The first product I'm going to talk about is the new NARS foundation. I've had a lot of tweets and a lot of questions about this and I've been giving it a go for a little bit now. It's called the All Day Luminous Weightless Foundation. NARS love their long names. They also tend to name things I think slightly wrong, like the Sheer Glow foundation. It's really not that sheer. But this one I thought was really interesting. One, because it comes with a pump, which is quite rare for NARS foundations. I remember when I bought Sheer Glow, it took me a long time to hunt down a pump for £5 in Space & K, and I was a little bit annoyed. So I'm happy this one comes with a pump. I'm a mix of two shades, Deuville and Fiji. I'm somewhere in between, so I'm going to use both today and kind of talk you through what I think of it so far as I'm applying it. So I think this foundation sits somewhere between one of those kind of oil serum foundations and just a normal liquid foundation. I find it really easy to blend in. I think when you're blending it in, it kind of sinks into the skin very quickly and sort of disappears, compared to the Sheer Glow, which I find I spend quite a long time blending that one in. This definitely has a more matte finish though. It says it's luminous, but I actually don't find it as glowy as Sheer Glow. I have quite dry, dehydrated skin. At the moment actually I have really bad skin from all the flying. I've got like a bit of a rash here. And I do find that this foundation clings to my dry patches. There's something about it that I find kind of just sits on top of the skin. I don't think it's terrible. When I look in the mirror, I think my skin does look quite nice, but when I look close up, I feel like you can sort of see my pores and it just looks a little bit dry on my skin. So maybe for oilier skin types this foundation might be nicer. But I'm definitely more of a fan of the Sheer Glow foundation. I just feel like it's kind of lighter on the skin, more glowy, and has a fresher finish. This one to me is a little bit heavier, but I do find that this foundation lasts really well throughout the day. When I look at my skin at the end of the day, it looks the same as it did in the morning, whereas I don't find Sheer Glow lasts as long. You definitely don't need much of this foundation though. I use sort of half a pump, but I've still got quite a lot left on my hand. So the formula is very long lasting and it's slightly more matte than Sheer Glow. So if you have sort of combination oily skin, I think you might like this, but for me I'm definitely more of a fan of the Sheer Glow foundation. Okay, the next product I'm going to talk through is the new Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer. I used this in my Get Ready With Me video and I had quite a few questions about it. I'm a big fan of this concealer. This for me lives up to my favourite NARS Creamy Radiant Concealer. I love the applicator. It's so long and bendy, that you can really get over kind of large areas. If you like to apply concealer on your cheeks, it's really easy. If I show you on my chin, oh, I've got a huge spot there. You can just use the flat side of the brush and it's so easy to apply. I really love the applicator. The formula is very creamy, it's very easy to blend, and once it is blended in it looks very natural. You can't kind of see it sitting on the skin. I also think it's got really decent coverage, so you can use it on spots and blemishes. Do you know what, I think this might even be better than the NARS one. But I love my NARS one so much I kind of feel bad saying that. I feel like a traitor. I'm just going to blend this in with my Real Techniques setting brush, which is the one I always use for concealer. I always put too much of this concealer on. I literally have far too much concealer on because the applicator is quite large and I'm used to the NARS one. I find that I always put too much on, so it's something to bear in mind. There is quite a lot of product on the wand, so be careful not to over apply like I have done. By the way, the look that I'm creating today isn't going to be nice because it's not really about the overall look, it's about trying each individual product and just telling you what I think. So I'm just blending this concealer in, taking it slightly over my lid. I'm actually going to take my foundation brush and just buff that all in because I did apply it a bit too much. Now I've put my concealer on, I feel like you can see that the foundation doesn't really suit my skin. I just look like I'm wearing too much makeup compared to what I usually wear. Areas like this I find just look a little bit dry and it looks like I've got pores that I don't really usually have. It just tends to kind of cling to areas like here and here. But anyway, I'm going to carry on, and the next product I'm using is actually in my hand. This is from Kiko and it's part of their new collection and it's a really gorgeous bronzer. It is called Masterpiece Bronzer in 01 Forward Sienna. It's got 3 different shades in it, like a light, medium and a dark, and it's just, I love this one actually. It's really smooth. I like to swirl my brush around. I'm going to use this not like how I usually do to contour, more as like a sun-kissed look over the tops of my cheekbones. That's not my cheekbones. What are these called? The tops of my like temples, and over my cheekbones and over my nose. So it gives more of like a summer sun-kissed look. This product's really soft. I know that sounds weird, but it feels soft when you apply it. It's just a really nice kind of blended product. I love Kiko. I hardly ever try anything that I don't like. So if you are looking for a new bronzer, a lot of people said that solar powders sold out, so I would recommend this one as well. I think it's really nice actually, and not too different to solar powder. Probably a little bit softer and lighter, but it's not kind of orange, it just leaves a really nice bronze. And next I'm going to talk about blushes. I think I've mentioned these before. I am in love with them. They're from Max Factor and it's their new blushes that are called the Creme Puff Blush. They come in 6 shades and I've already done a blog post on these because I think they're such a good dupe for the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Blush. I do find these a little bit more shimmery, sparkly. When you are in direct sunlight, you can look a little bit sparkly, but they're really, really pretty. Which shade am I going to use? I'm going to use Gorgeous Berries. They're baked and they have that kind of swirly, highlightery look. So you can use these as a blush and a highlight if you use it kind of on the tops of your cheekbones. This one's quite a dark shade, so I'm going to take a little bit and just apply it kind of to the tops of my cheekbones. These are so pretty. I think they're really good value for money. Very similar to the Hourglass ones. Very pretty for spring, summer. I'm just going to take the product off my brush and blend that in a bit. I really like these. I always find it hard to decide which colour to wear in the morning, but I've been using these a lot this month. I think these are also quite similar to the Milani blushes. If you're in the UK and you can't get Milani, because I think it's an American brand, these are also quite similar. They have that baked, swirly feel to them. Oh, I forgot to mention, I have these 2 products here. I was going to say about the foundation that I also tried using it with like a hydrating base with the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream. Or recently also tried this from Eve Lom, which is their Flawless Radiance SPF 30. And I found that when I put on a really hydrating base first, the foundation went on better and had more of like hydrated, glowy finish. So I feel like you can amp up the hydration, but I wanted to apply it without those just so you could see what it looked like by itself. Okay, I just quickly filled in my brows a bit, and next I'm going to talk about eyes. These are new from Bourjois and they are the Colour Band eyeshadow and liners. So these are cream eyeshadows. I wouldn't probably use these as liners because they're quite kind of big. I think these are really nice just as cream eyeshadows. I have 4 shades here. Oh god, these are all going to be French. Rose Fauviste. Oh, I'm not even going to attempt. God, they're really difficult names. I'm just going to list below what the names are. I am not going to ruin French for everybody. I really like these. I've tried them out a couple of times so far. They haven't creased on me. I think unless you kind of really load them up, they don't crease. I think if you put too much on, they might, but if you really blend it out, they're really nice. I'm going to use a couple of shades. I can't decide which one. The one, Mauve Baroque, I think is quite similar to Misty Rock. It's just a bit more purple, but it's got that really nice kind of silver shimmer in it that gives you that wet look on the lid. There's a really nice kind of pale gold and a pale pink that's a bit like all that glitters, and then a dark brown. I think I'm going to use the pale pink and the brown together. So I'm going to start with the shade 04 and just take that all over the lid. It's a really like chunky crayon, so you can just completely draw it on. This is also similar to that Kiko eyeshadow that I always talk about. So you can apply it and then you can use your finger to blend it out. You can use a brush, but I think for the lighter colours it's really easy to just use your finger. I think they're quite subtle, nothing too drastic. You probably can layer it up, but just for like a sheer wash of colour, I think it's really pretty. Very subtle. I'm going to use the brown shade in 02 on the outer parts of the eye. And these are quite easy to blend together, so you can use more than one shade. I'm just going to apply that to the outer part of the eye. And then I'm going to use a blending brush just to blend that in. They're very soft, easy to blend, and have really nice kind of metallic shimmer to them. I think that's really pretty. As I said, it's quite subtle. I don't think these are life-changing. They're definitely not like the By Terry Ombre Black Stars, but for kind of drugstore prices, these are really nice. And they're great if you do your makeup on the train as well, because they're very easy. You don't need to use a brush, you can just use your finger. I'm impressed with these. The quality feels really nice. And they do last on the lid. I tried them yesterday all day and it did last. These are nice for school or if you don't like to wear too much makeup to work. Very easy, and I think I prefer them to the Rimmel eyeshadow crayons. Actually, I definitely do. I'm not going to put any liner on, but I'm going to go in for mascara now. And this is a pretty exciting launch. I've seen a lot of hype about this product. It's from Benefit and it's their Roller Lash. Benefit always do mascaras very big. It's always a very big launch. I wasn't a fan of their reel at all, even though it's apparently the UK's #1 bestseller mascara. I've never been a fan. I like the packaging. The top is rubberized and I think it's meant to look like a hair roller, but it's actually, even though it's kind of just, you know, packaging and it looks pretty, I actually think it's quite nice to grip. It's got good grip to it. The wand is like one of those kind of plastic ones with very fine bristles. So with these sort of wands, I always like to really take my time to comb through the lashes. So I'm just going to apply it to the lashes, sort of twisting the wand as I apply, going right from the root and just lifting the lashes up. I think this mascara gives amazing length, like sky high lashes, seriously, very, very long defined lashes. But I don't find that it's the best for volume, which is usually something that I quite like in a mascara. I like having quite full, thick lashes. So it doesn't really do the volume thing, but there's no denying it does length. I haven't actually used a curl lot on my lashes. I feel like it does give a really good curl. I think that's quite a dramatic difference actually, and that's only with a couple of kind of layers. This is probably one of the best Benefit mascaras that I've tried, and definitely beats their reel for me. So it definitely gives length and definition, not so much volume, but if it's length you're after and curl, well done Benefit. This product's actually worth the hype. Okay, we're on to the final product, and this is new from YSL. I mentioned the Clarins lip oil in my January favourites, and it was the first kind of lip oil that I've tried, but I knew that it was going to become a thing. Once one brand does it, everyone kind of follows. And I think it makes sense having an oil for your lips. Oils are very hydrating and nourishing, and YSL have gone that one step further and made a tinted oil. This is kind of strange, but it comes in loads of different shades. It has their kind of signature applicator, so I'll show you. When you apply it, there is no doubt it feels like an oil. It has their signature very fruity, melon scented fragrance. So if you're not a fan of sweet, fruity scents, you won't like this. It's quite overwhelming, but I quite like it. As you can see when I apply it, it is tinted. And the shade sort of really comes out as you apply it. It gets brighter or darker. It does feel quite slippy and oily, and I'm not sure I'm a massive fan of the texture of it. I immediately feel like I want to go and blot it with a tissue, but I find that after a couple of hours the oil layer sort of disappears and you're left with a tint, which I think is the whole idea, and I do quite like it. I like the whole tint to the lips thing. It feels very moisturising. I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of the oiliness of it. I wish I could tell you the shade of this one, but the number on the bottom is just so tiny I can't see it. But it's quite a bright pink. I think it's pretty. I think a lot of people will like it because it does really hydrate the lips. It's kind of a nice alternative to lip gloss. But I think when I wear it, I'd apply it, blot it with a tissue, and then just kind of leave the stain. Actually, I'm gonna go get a tissue so I can show you what it looks like. Okay, so when I blot it, it kind of takes off that oily layer. Yeah, and then you're left with a tint. I kind of like that, but I'm sure that's not the kind of purpose of it, and probably not a reason to buy it because they do just tints. But I think once the oily layer kind of disappears, it is a really nice lip tint, and it would probably be really nice for spring and summer months. So those are all the new beauty launches that I wanted to talk you through today. As I said, I'm going to list everything down below, all the products, prices, launch dates, how many shades they have, as much info as I can find on all these products. So I hope that will be helpful to you guys, and I hope you enjoyed hearing my opinion on them. Remember that everyone has a very different opinion, especially with beauty, so don't take everything I say as gold. You might think very different about these products. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on Sunday for my next video, which is going to be a massive American beauty haul. I'm so excited. I bought so much stuff from Target and Sephora, so come back on Sunday morning, 9:30 AM to see that, and I'll see you guys then. Bye!